What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to Real Reds Talk. We have had some absolute massive news just breaking, literally. Just dipping me, bourbon in me brew, watching the Champions League as you do. Inter Milan versus AC Milan. And then Mike Keegan drops an absolute bombshell on Twitter saying that basically Sheikh Jassim, or I'll just read the article and then we'll go through it together. So, breaking news. Sheikh Jassim has made an extraordinary 11th hour take it or leave it offer for Manchester United. He has submitted a final improved bid in an attempt to see off competition from Sir Jim Ratcliffe and conclude a deal for the total ownership. Now, let me just maximize this because I feel like I'm going blind. So let me repeat that for guys who are just joining. Make sure you smash like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you are just joining. But yeah, Sheikh Jassim has made an extraordinary 11th hour take it or leave it offer for Manchester United. He has submitted a final improved bid in an attempt to see off competition from Sir Jim Ratcliffe and conclude a deal for total ownership. I mean, who's in the chat? Let me see. Henry Jones saying, yes, how you doing, Henry? Make sure you get your likes in, get your comments in. Sheikh Jassim has put a brand new bid in for Manchester United, and his new offer United is believed to be significantly improved on his first, although it is still thought to value United at a lower price than Ratcliffe. However, Sheikh Jassim's bid is for total control with the fee to be paid now. That's the main to discuss. And talks have been ongoing. Earlier today, Sheikh Jassim made a further move in a last-ditch attempt to seize control of the club. The Qatari offer is believed to be significantly improved on his first, although, like I said, it is still thought to value United at a lower price than Sir Jim. Now, because Sir Jim is doing the kind of 50%, 60%, whatever it is, and then he'll buy the other siblings out later on down the line. Whereas Sheikh Jassim's, everyone's like, well, why is it lower than Sir Jim's? What's going on here? His is 100% right now, take it or leave it. 11th hour bid. His bid would instantly clear United's debt, which at the last count was 536 million. The offer also contains the promise of significant investment in both playing squad and the upgrade or rebuild of Old Trafford. Sam saying always happens to us after we've been live. That's it. That's you know the name of the game. It just always happens to it. Henry Jones saying how much? Well, his first initial offer was supposed to be really underwhelming, like only just over 5 billion or just under 5 billion. So I'm guessing it's just going to be a little bit extra than that, I suppose. I don't know. If you're thinking I sound absolutely horrendous, I really apologize. I'm very nasally. I'm not very well at the minute, but when news breaks like this, it doesn't matter. You've got to go. You've got to go. Brian is in the chat saying, evening, Nick. Can't see this working. It's going to take an extraordinary bid to get the Glazers to realise their grip on the club, pure green. Now, this is something that's what I was just about to say. Brian always gives me the perfect segues. I was just about to say this. This bid will blow up media outlets and loads of people be talking about it. But in actual reality, if we kind of sieve through the shit and get right down to the bottom of it, even still, the 11th hour bid that he's now put in isn't like the blowing out of the water bid, or isn't what the Glazers want, essentially. The Glazers always said 6 billion, or we'll look at other strategic alternatives. Strategic alternatives, obviously, being Sir Jim Ratcliffe and working alongside him, and then kind of 50-50. They see their way off in a couple of years' time. Everybody's happy, everybody wins. So in order for this bid to be, significant, and in order for this bid to win, it has to be near the 6 billion mark, and I don't think it is. Everything you're seeing online at the minute, what Mike Keegan's put out, it's not even saying like the bid's 6 billion or anywhere near that kind of figure. And so does that really change anything? Really? Like, you just don't know, do you? So it's very interesting. But look, I've got people asking, what am I on about? What am I talking about? So again, I apologize for people who don't have a clue whether they just joined or people who are already watching. But let me just read out the article for you again. So breaking news, Sheikh Jassim has made an extraordinary 11th hour bid, take it or leave it offer for Manchester United. He has submitted a final improved bid in an attempt to see off competition from Sir Jim Ratcliffe and conclude a deal for total ownership. So make sure you get your comments in the TikTok. Make sure you smash a like on TikTok as well and let me know. Henry Jones is saying so around 5.6, 5.7. I don't even think it's that much, Henry. One can only speculate. They haven't released the figures. It's just apparently an improved bid, but not that much significant where it's to the point where it's like £6 billion. So who knows at this point? It's literally guesswork. No one has a clue. I can only just say it's probably if his first initial bid was, I don't know, 5.1 billion, you're probably talking a couple of hundred more million, which in when you look at that like that, a couple of hundred million, that's loads. But in regards to where the Glazers are putting their kind of benchmark, it's not, is it? They still want £6 billion, whatever ridiculous it is. Ash Pay to Lose is saying apparently the bid is 5.5 billion for 100%, which is less than what Sir Jim values it. Now that is true. Sir Jim values it at 6 billion, but he's offering 50% for 3 billion or something along the lines of that, innit? So he's not paying 100%. There's the difference. You look at both bids, that is the absolute difference right there. So yeah, it is what it is at the minute. Adam saying must have been a meeting at the father's hotel. Also, it's pounds, which converted to dollars is around the 7 bill mark, which is what they want. Who do you think will win? I don't think this is very reactionary right now. I'm very obviously going off just literally seeing this news, but I don't think this bid's gonna change their mind. I don't. I really, really don't. And just to reiterate, Sheikh Jassim's offer is to buy 100% of Manchester United, now at a price closer to 5 billion, apparently. Well, that's £5 billion. So a lot of people are getting confused and talking about euros, dollars. Who knows? Because what media outlets do, right? They take a price and they'll add a currency on it to make it more. So if a transfer, let's say we sign someone for Anthony, for example, right? We signed him for £80 million, I think it was. But just to get that quote over 100 million, they would put 100 million euros, $100 million to make it seem more. So this is why it confuses you. So apparently his offer 100% to buy United, and now it's at a price closer to 5 billion, which if we have any kind of currency kings in the chat, what is someone convert £5 billion from it into euros or £5 billion dollars? It's going to be dollars, isn't it? Obviously, they're American. £5 billion into dollars. Sheikh Jassim's new offer for United still falls short of Sir Jim Ratcliffe's valuation, which could be close to 6 billion if he buys the whole club in the next 2 to 4 years. But is this what we want? Is this what we want as United fans? Because do you want Sir Jim Ratcliffe buying the club and then, working with the Glazers and still knowing that the Glazers are making money from it as well? That's another thing. We've got Xavi Simmons in the chat saying, yo, big up to Xavi Simmons. Ash Pay to Lose is saying correct. So it's all going off at the minute. Obviously, more and more things are coming out as I'm live right now. So, like I said, I will react to it when they come out. But let me know your thoughts on this situation. How you feel about it. Do you want Qatar or do you want Sir Jim Ratcliffe? I have put a poll up in the chat. And I did think more news would break after this, to be honest. But it's trending. Qatar's trending. Sheikh Jassim's trending. And his questions being thrown out. Is Al Thani's offer for 69% or 100%? Because the valuations are odd if it's 69%. Yeah, look, I'm no financial expert, but from what I can see, basically, like Sam's just put in the chat there, Sheikh Jassim's offer is to buy 100% of United, now at a price closer to 5 billion. Sources insist a new offer represents a significant increase over the initial offer from the Times. I still don't think Qatar will get it. I really, really don't. Uncle Jim, thank you for buying United, says whoever that was, Mr. Trader. Someone say Qatar in the chat. Uncle Jim, thank you for buying United. Yeah, I still think Sir Jim Ratcliffe's going to get it. Every time we've had how many rounds of bids have we had now? 4, 5, 6, 7, however long it's gone on for, right? There has always been something like, oh yeah, well, they're not doing it. They're not doing it now. It's 6 billion. It's not nowhere near the 6 billion mark, so they're not doing it. They're not going to sell the club. They'll look at other strategic alternatives. So I am not getting any hope. So to be honest, I'm on the fence about the ownership situation anyway, and that's a completely different topic for a completely different day. But I don't know. I'm on the fence about it. I really, really don't know because didn't mean to do that. Let me just get a drink. My throat's absolutely killing. TS7 saying, what's going on with Kim from Napoli? A lot of smoke around that in a minute. Apparently United are in talks with him. A lot of credible outlets in Italy reporting this. And he's got a release clause in June where they could, I think he's like 40 to 50 million pounds. And we spoke about Kim and Jay before. So any of you guys missed the show before, make sure you do check that out. Sam, Dave, and Dan were live discussing Kim and Jay, Harry Kane, and the ownership situation. But we are here to discuss the breaking news right now. Paul Keller saying, why would Qatar pay 6 billion for United when it's worth half of that? Greedy Glazers asking way too much. Qatar won't, but United, I can see it coming. Rumours they'll switch sites to buying Spurs. This is what I completely agree with that, and it's one of them. I get you know, my brother Sam, who's on the channel, he has put out there before he doesn't want Qatar. And I tend to agree with a lot of things he says in terms of human rights, women's rights, the treatment of the LGBTQ plus community, which I completely understand. But at the same time as well, with Manchester United, if we don't take state ownership, and I feel like such a hypocrite saying this because I've been that guy for years who said Man City are only where they are because of oil money, and Manchester United are in fact one of the only clubs who are one of the rare clubs who are self-sustainable. Like they make about £600 million in revenue per year. So if it was managed right and wasn't loaded with shitloads of debt and a load of other things, the stadium we wouldn't have to worry about, the training ground we wouldn't have to worry about, because when the Glazers took over United, we had world-class facilities everywhere. Carrington was the best training ground in England. Old Trafford, fantastic stadium. Needed bits of work doing, but it's got even worse now. So, in actual fact, if the club got treated how it should have done, we wouldn't be in this situation. But the fact of the matter is we are. And we are here now. And we're at a point where we need significant cash injected into this club. In terms of you spending what £1 to £2 billion on a stadium, you're going to spend a shitload of money on the training ground. You're probably going to spend, you know, a couple of $100 million in the transfer window. You want to start with a big bang in this transfer window to back Eric Ten Hag. So as well as buying the club, this is what I mean. If Qatar not Qatar, but Sheikh Jassim buy the club for whatever the reported fee is, £6 billion, £5 billion sterling pounds, sorry, but $6 billion. The amount of money you have to put in as well on top of that. Like I said, like a £10 billion investment. That's what we're talking about here. Now, of course, if you nurture Manchester United right, you've got a great manager there. So the potential for United at the minute is huge if you put cash into him. So the return on that in 10 years' time, you'll probably double the evaluation on United if you get him challenging for Premier League titles and back in Europe again, making them an absolute massive club, which we are. That's where it's interesting. And that's where you're like, yeah, I can see it. If Sir Jim comes in, now there's 2 points I want to make about Jim Ratcliffe, right? One, if anyone has looked at his progress at Nice and what he has done there, it hasn't been all that great. He bought him for like £90 million, I think it was. And one of the statements was when he came in was that, oh, we're going to take Nice to challenge PSG at the top of the table with regulars in the top four. Before Sir Jim Ratcliffe took over Nice, they finished in the top four 3 or 4 times, I think it was. Since he's taken over, I don't think they finished there once. I think the highest place to finish is 5th, and they're currently mid-table. They've signed Premier League rejects in Ross Barkley, Nicola Pepe, Kasper Schmeichel. There's a couple of more there who can't remember off the top of my head. They had a massive row with the board of directors at the top. They sacked world-class managers in Christophe Gaitier, who ended up going to PSG and doing really well. So let's not pretend. You've seen all this media spin and PR from the players who were at Nice, who were saying, fantastic, I think he'll do a great job. They're obviously not going to sit there and come out and be like, yeah, shit owner, I don't know what the fuck he's doing at that club, but it ain't right, whatever it is. They're never going to say that in a million years. But I encourage anyone to do your research on Nice and how Sir Jim Ratcliffe has handled that club. And if he's doing that with all due respect, a small club, listen, Manchester United is a completely different beast when you're trying to manage that. The expectation, the pressure, the financials, the debt that's coming along with it. Like, it is a huge, huge job. And another thing is, the guy's claiming he was a United fan, but had a Chelsea season ticket because he couldn't be asked, going from London to Manchester when the guy could probably fly a plane. It's absolute bollocks. So I'm not happy with. I was all right with the Sir Jim Ratcliffe bid, and I would have, being the key word, entertained it. But when you're seeing this getting into the bed with Glazers and keeping them on and knowing they're still making money from the club, does it really feel like an achievement? Since they announced this in November and they said, right, we're going to look for strategic alternatives, we're going to sell the club, we're going to do this, blah, blah, blah. We was like buzzing. At that moment in time, you'd be like, anyone who comes in, absolutely, we will sell the club. We don't give a fuck. Now, as time we've kind of sat on it, we're like, well, is Sir Jim the best? He's obviously better than the Glazers, and anything really, realistically, is better than the Glazers. But it still feels like a bit of a kick in the balls, doesn't it? That's the issue. Still does feel like that. Joseph Jack saying not enough to move the Glazers from their seats. The final third, hope they win. Brian Casey, if it is Sir Jim that wins, the first thing he needs to do is go and hire the best football people for the football roles, get a proper sporting director in place, and set up a proper scouting network. Absolutely, I fully agree with that. Let's read some comments out from the TikTok and see what you guys are saying. You had an argument with someone who tried to say Jack Grealish is better than Ryan Giggs. Who did? The guy really said Grealish season over 99, Griggs. Yeah, and Paul Scholes as well. Over Gundogan over Paul Scholes. Criminal. Absolutely criminal. Make sure you smash a like on the video, by the way. So yeah, let's see if there's any more kind of flurry and updates as we're live right now. If it lets me. Oh, I'm already on it. No, never mind. Let's have a look, see if we've had any more developments on this. Because usually Mike Keegan breaks a story and then you get a few more bits. So, 5 billion for 100%. Glazers own 69%. This represents a 3.45 billion bid for the Glazers shares, 575 million per Glazer, 6 billion for the 100% valuation. Glazers own 69%. This represents 4.14% bid for the Glazers share, 690 million per Glazer. So there is it broken down for you. The only difference here is in the second scenario, two of the Glazers aren't selling right away. They'd likely get, 690 million per in 2-4 years or higher. So another thing to note, let me get another drink. Oh my God. People just joining. Again, I have to repeat the statement because people won't have a clue what I'm going on about. Sheikh Jassim has made an extraordinary 11th hour take it or leave it offer for Manchester United. He has submitted a final improved bid in an attempt to see off competition for Sir Jim Ratcliffe and conclude a deal for total ownership. So make sure you smash a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you're new around these parts, and let me know your thoughts if Qatar were to win the bid or if Sir Jim were to win the bid likewise. But also, as well, let me know what score the Inter Milan game is, because I'm absolutely clear. I was watching Champions League and then that news broke and I was like, holy shit, I'm going to have to go live for this. So, yeah, anyone who doesn't understand the figures, 5 billion for 100%. We know the Glazers own 69%. This represents a 3.45 billion bid for the Glazers share, 575 million per Glazer. So, Jim Ratcliffe, the 6 billion for 100. Oh, no. Yeah, no. Sheikh Jassim, 6 billion for 100% valuation. Glazers own 69%. This represents 4.14 billion bid for the Glazers share, 690 million per Glazer. It's not a bad amount of money, is it? When you look at it like that. 0-0, sadly, says Sam. Yeah, well, I hope AC Milan win that. I hope they do. But look, this bid, I personally, my actual thoughts, if I was to dive into this, I don't think this Qatar bid's going to win. I don't. If this was breaking news and it was like 6 billion bang on the bid, I think that's done and dusted. I think they wrap it up there. But the 5.5 million bid, I was going to say put yourself in the Glazers' shoes there. It's something that you really don't want to do, is it? But if you're the Glazers and let's say you think like them, money hungry twats, greedy twats, right? Let's just stay in them shoes for 5-10 seconds, right? You've got someone, a billionaire, offering you, half of it now, and then you continue to make money and maybe make more money in a couple of years' time, and then you can go. Or you just take take the money now, which is basically equal to that, and then you go. Which one would you take? Now, obviously, they don't have any morals. They don't really care. They claim that they've got affection for this club, but in actual fact, they're just hard-nosed, greedy bastards, aren't they, if we're being completely honest? So the reason why I'm saying is think in the mind frame of a Glazer is because you know for a fact they are not going to, just know they're not going to accept this bid. You know the line that is going to come out from this, right, will be still not what they wanted, the Glazers. Looks like they're going to go down the path with Sir Jim Ratcliffe. His final bid was better. That is more of a strategic opportunity for these guys. So that is what's going to happen. Is anyone disagree with me? Does anyone in this chat right now? We've got 17 people in the YouTube. We've got quite a few in the TikTok as well. Does anybody disagree with me right now on that and think Qatar will win this bid with this new one that they've put in? And also make sure if you are new around these parts, you subscribe to Real Reds Talk, smash a like on the video, and get your comments in. You're all quiet, man. Let me know how you feel about the situation, the news, react to it. I want to see what you're saying. Shout out Rand. I don't know who. No, I don't know who they are. Sorry. No idea who they are, mate. I would have shouted them out, but I feel like it's going to be a dodgy name and I might throw myself under a bus there. So, yeah. But this is super interesting. Really, really interesting. These kind of news pieces break at such odd times. Simon Stone's just confirmed this as well. He said a fresh bid has been submitted by Sheikh Jassim for Man United for 100% of the club and will clear the debt with additional funds to spend on the club. But this is all we're hearing right now. The only difference here, like I said before, the second scenario, two of the Glazers aren't selling right away. They'd likely get 690 million instead in 3 years' time, something along the lines of that. So this is where we're at in the minute. I, I suppose we just got to wait and see now. We've got to wait and see what happens with this after the bid goes in. I don't think it'll happen. I think it's still going to fall short, which sounds ridiculous because £5.5 billion is the world record fee for any club ever, any sports franchise ever. So if it doesn't go through, I don't know. I always thought, I don't know if anyone was aware of this, but Sheikh Jassim, he's part of QIB, which is like Qatari Interstate Bank, something along the lines of that. And then he is part of Credit Suisse as well. Credit Suisse recently had a massive crash and lost billions of pounds. And apparently this put a black mark next to his name, which not a lot of people were speaking about. And this had an effect on how much he was bidding or had an effect on his bidding process with the Rain Group. And this is why he was leaning more towards Radcliffe. How much of an influence that actually had, I'm not entirely sure, but this is what a lot of people in the know had been speaking about. But I must say this bid has surprised me. It really has surprised me. And Jamie Jackson's reporting here as well. Sheikh Jassim's bid for United includes a separate fund for solely club and community. Sheikh Jassim's bid for United includes a separate fund for solely club and community. So, like I said before, it's going to be a £10 billion investment, something along, that's what we're talking here. We've got Moses saying, "All right, mate, how you doing? Very good. Let me know about the Qatar Jim. What are we saying?" I formed the question to you. Who do you prefer? Who do you think? Do you think this changes anything at all? I don't. And that's why I've been doing this channel for a bit now. And at the very start, I was very, what's the word? Very sensationalist. I'd react to everything. If I see the transfer story, I'd be like, oh, he's going to join. He's going to do this. But I've seen enough now and I've reported enough now. And I've been around the block when it comes to looking at these news bits, and I don't think this bid will win. I really, really don't think this bid will win, in my opinion. So I'm not getting excited about it. It doesn't change much things for me. But look, if there's people out there who want Qatar, maybe this, is very good news for them, and maybe they think this bid will win. But I know what the Glazers are like. Just wait, give it 1, 2, 3 days, whatever it is, for a credible journalist to come out and say something like, no, still not near the valuation, £6 billion. They're going to move forward with the Sir Jim Ratcliffe bid, blah, 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 blah. Fall asleep, usual shit. Rinse and repeat and go again. And Sam says it there perfectly. Glazers want the most money. That's Sir Jim. End of discussion. And if he's saying this is the final bid now, take it or leave it, the 11th hour bid, which, if I'm being honest with you, I don't have a Scooby-Doo what that means. What does the 11th hour bid, what the fuck does that mean? Like the last minute bid? How many times have we seen this? The first round, the second round, the third round. It's becoming like Rocky. Literally Rocky, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's what this bidding process is like at the minute. I tell you what, sort it out now and just finish it. For all United fans' sake who've been sat here and just constantly seeing spin from different journalists and different this and that, blah, blah, blah. Just sell the club. Sell it. I'm sick of this now. The amount of times this is happening, this round, blah, blah, blah. Like, honestly, man, tired of this shit. TS7, interesting how much speculation has come out of this when they've all signed NDAs. They signed NDAs, but I think if you're putting a bid in, you're more than allowed to put that out there, aren't you, I suppose? Daniel Raj, Ratcliffe joining Glazers to run this club is the worst thing can happen in this owner situation. Sam Saverney saying, who do you want? To be honest, there isn't a perfect one for me at the minute. And I mentioned before, there's two sides to look at this. If you can switch off your moral compass and you want what's best for the club, then Qatar is the best option in terms of that. They're going to invest the most money. They're going to be able to compete with the likes of Newcastle and Man City and other massive teams in Europe with huge cash funds. That's not right. That let me go back on that a little bit, because I said if you haven't got a moral compass, that's what's right. Because any billionaire, you're going to struggle to find a clean billionaire in that sense. But I wouldn't feel right with with Sir Jim coming in. You know, he's working with the Glazers. He's jumping into the bed with them, and he's going to make them more money. So that straight away is just like no for me. Absolutely not. Fuck that. Keep me away from that. Don't want that. And then Qatar, you're like, well, yeah, but should United, a club with tradition like Manchester United, who's can really self-sustain himself within the market, should they be becoming a state-owned club with the hypocrisy? Everything we've spoken about Man City only being a club, because I know we're a massive club anyway, regardless whatever happens. Even if we get taken over by a state club, we're a massive club and we always have been, and we've got huge history. But that kind of ties into my point. Should we become that state-owned club? You know what comes with it. And when we've all sat here, every single one of us have sat here and said, City, you're only there because of oil money. You're only doing this because of that. You only do. Do you know what I'm saying? So the hypocrisy is I struggle with a little bit, to be honest. Lee Smith is saying Ratcliffe is still the favourite. I agree with you, Lee. I agree with you 100%. So to answer your question, sorry, Sam, I don't want either. I don't want Qatar or Sir Jim Ratcliffe. I wanted something different. I wanted something like an Amazon or an Apple, who, again, moral compass, you're talking about workers, you've got suicide nets outside where they work, in the sweatshops and stuff. So you're never going to find a clean billionaire. There's always going to be ethical issues, moral issues, sorry. So wherever you look, I just think if I'm just take everything out of it, what's going to be best for the club out of the two, it's going to be Qatar. It is. It's as simple as that. I think we can never have it both rich and clean owner. It's either going to be a poor clean owner or a rich faulty owner. That's it. That's it. And money talks, done it, especially in the football landscape. When you see the way the Premier League's going, you feel like this plane's taking off, and you've got these state owners on it with Newcastle with Saudi, you've got Man City with Abu Dhabi, and then you've got that plane waiting there with Sheikh Jassim. And really, the sky's the limit with him, with the potential under him. You put a financial juggernaut back in behind Eric Ten Hag now, and the players that we've got, honestly, I think will be huge. I think will be absolutely massive. Genuinely. Competing on all fronts. Especially if we hire the right people. If they come in, they get world-class people in every single position, especially board of directors, which we've needed for years, by the way. We needed for 10, 20 years. Well, not 20 years, sorry. 10 years we needed, legit, competent people at the top pulling the strings. The recruitment, the scouting, any financial decision that's been made, it's been a mess on it. When Ed Woodward was in, Richard Arnold below him still, Mertens been at the club for years. It's been a total mess. And I don't care whoever's been, let go or what have you, it's still a mess. It's still a mess. And you're getting PR spun from certain journalists saying that, Richard Arnold's doing a fantastic job now and Mertens a great whatever he is. But in reality, have we got short memories of something? Because I'm pretty sure I remember the summer when we went in for like panic buys for a Nautovic, and they stopped it because the fans was like, "Fuck off, we don't want an Nautovic." And then you got Rabiot last minute signing. Apparently, we're going back in for him. Maybe the manager wanted him. I don't know. But when you're going in for Frankie de Jong, why near the end of the window are you going for a Nautovic and Rabiot? You're like, what the fuck? And then you buy Anthony for 85 million at the end of the window when you could have got him for cheaper earlier. You lose out on Nunes. You lose out on de Jong. You get Lissandro instead of Timber, which obviously worked out better. You get Casemiro instead of de Jong, which, again, probably worked out better when you look at it like that, because we probably needed Casemiro more in that mould of midfielder. But you can't tell me that these guys are doing a great job. It's bullshit. So that is something whoever it is who comes in needs to identify. But that is something, again, that's another topic for another day and another show, which we'll probably end up doing during the summer transfer market. But speaking of the summer transfer market, this is what's important now. This is what is important, because the longer this drags on, if this final bit now is like the Glazers like, oh, we need another 3 weeks to decide. You're like, oh, right. So is that just our summer window done and dusted then? Are we just not buying anyone? Are we just going to buy Harry Kane and then leave it at that? And then probably sign Sabitzer and spin it like we bought a couple of players and bring Ahmad back like he's a new signing. Like, I don't know, man. It's frustrating for me. I just want it done. Sell the club. Simple as that. Simple as that. I'll check if there's any updates before I head off. Any more updates, should I say? Let's have a look. Let's see. Da. Sheikh Jassim has now made another increased bid. As always, it was for 100% of Manchester United, will clear all debt and includes a separate fund directly sold to the club and community. Sources guarantee this is a significant increase over the initial proposal. That's what Fabrizio Romano's just put out. But I want to see the actual, like, the fee, the actual bid, what they've put in. That's what I'm interested to know. But as always, guys, if you are new around these parts, make sure you subscribe to the channel. If you want to become a real Red Ultra for exclusive content, we dropped the video today for members. You click the join button next to the notification bell. You get exclusive content every single Monday, a Badge 16 name, and a chance to feature on the show. We've got 2 spots left on the starting 11 in the members section. So if you want to become a part of that, a real Red Ultra, we've got a fantastic community over on this channel. And obviously turn on the notification bell as well for when we go live for situations like this. If anything else breaks or you hear a reply within the next hour, whether it's the rain group or whatever, which I doubt you will, but if you do, I will be live right here. So make sure you come and join me, yeah? Right, take care, guys. I'll see you lot in the next one. Let's see what happens, Qatar or Sir Jim.